Good morning, friends. Unfortunately, we are live with breaking news just about an hour or two ago. An ICE office in Dallas, Texas. My grandparents lived in Dallas, Texas. I've traveled there many times. An ICE office at Dallas, Texas is became the scene of a sniper shooting. uh, Mixed reports are in, but the sniper has taken his own life in cowardly fashion. Let's listen into what locals are reporting now.
Good morning. Yeah, sorry, we're just checking in on our messages that are coming in kind of fast and furious here. As really this turns into the investigation phase. Okay, just reading some notes here from one of our contacts. So what we can tell you again, that two are confirmed dead here. The third is, of course, the shooter who died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We've been discussing this morning the proximity of Parkland to the crime scene as being a likely candidate for these folks to be transported to. We're not seeing a lot of police activity here, which again either tells me that they were taken to UT Southwestern, or perhaps unfortunately they were not able to be saved in a significant way that would then have them come to a hospital for more treatment, because unfortunately they have passed away. Again, we're being told 3 people have been shot. We can confirm 2 of them are deceased, and then on top of that, the shooter as well. We can tell you that Dallas police are taking a lead on this as they really try and figure out what happened here. We really go into the investigation phase.
Here we go, friends. Here we go with the live press conference outside the location where this shooting occurred. 6:40 a.m. Dallas time. Looks like local sheriff,
Good morning.
representative, FBI.
And brief you on the events as we know them that happened this morning.
All right. Let me start off by saying that I'm a person who believes very, very strongly in the power of prayer, and that prayer changes things. And so I'm going to ask everyone, please join me in praying for the families of the folks who lost their lives today. Pray for the speedy recovery for those who are hurt and were injured in what happened today. But maybe even more to the point, we're a country and a city that needs prayer. So I'm going to ask you all to join me also in praying for this city, that we can come together at a time like this, and that we can be there for one another the way we always have in times like this, to support one another, help us all get through this very difficult time, not just in our city, but in our country. And that's why I'd ask you to pray for our nation. There's a lot going on right now in our country. A lot of it's confusing. It's a scary time. I've got children. I've got 3 young children. And I'm here to tell you that it is challenging to explain to them what's going on in our country right now. But I said before, and I'll say it again, I believe in the power of prayer to change things. And it can change the hearts of people. It can change this country. It can change the city. So please pray for everyone who's affected by today's tragedy. I also want to say thank you to the Dallas Police Department, and say thank you to the Dallas Sheriff's Department, Dallas County Sheriff's Department, Texas Department of Public Safety, and all of our various federal law enforcement partners who acted so quickly today to make sure that today's tragedy wasn't worse than what it was. So on behalf of the city of Dallas, I want to say thank you to all of you. And you're going to hear from some of those folks later, but I wanted to let you know that we appreciate what you all do not just today, but every day to help keep us all safe. And lastly, and this is really important, I would ask all of the city of Dallas residents who can hear me right now, let's be patient, let's remain calm, and let's let our law enforcement partners, our police department, do their job. This is an active investigation. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. And I want to encourage all of you to exercise a little bit of restraint and allow them to do their job to help make sure this continues to be a safe city and that they can help us figure out what happened here today. But with that, I want to say, again, thank you to all the folks who came out this morning from our law enforcement community. I'll turn it over to our police chief, Daniel Como, to speak a little bit more directly to the investigation itself. And with that, Chief Como, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Today at approximately 6:40 a.m., we received a assist the officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD was able to locate the shooter who was deceased. We're going to be working this investigation shoulder to shoulder with our federal partners. The FBI is on scene, and right now I'm going to introduce you to the SAC of the Dallas Field Division, FBI Joe Rumrock.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Joe Rothrock. I'm the special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI Field Office. I want to first start by thanking our partners in local law enforcement, specifically the Dallas Police Department, for their quick and timely response. I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable. While we're not releasing identities of any victims at this time, what I can confirm for you is no members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack. If any member of the public has information that would help the FBI's investigation, I would ask that you please report that to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, any piece of information will be helpful, but this will be an ongoing investigation between us, a number of federal partners, and our local partners, again, to ensure that anyone responsible is held accountable. With that, I will turn it over to my counterpart from the ICE Enforcement and Removal Office.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Johnson. I'm the acting field office director for ICE Dallas. I'll be brief with my comments, but I do want to start off by saying thank you to the Dallas Police Department, Dallas FBI, HSI, CBP, ATF, and virtually every law enforcement officer in North Texas for your support. This is the second time I've had to stand in front of you and talk about a shooter at one of my facilities. And I think that the takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Again, thank you all so much. As it was said here today, if you do have any information, reach out to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you. Thank you.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences. I hope that every one of us will pray, number one, for the safety of law enforcement that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Number two, for the health of those who were shot and injured today. We still don't know the full details of who was injured, but for the families also of the victims of this shooting. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe. And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with the men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
Senator, have you been told that immigrant detainees were the victims of today's shooting?
My understanding is the details of who the victims are still being ascertained, so I don't want to go ahead of law enforcement releasing these details. What they have said is that no law enforcement was injured, and so that's a natural inference, but I don't know the details.
So I'm not going to go into any more details at this time. We will come back to you when we have more details to share. Again, our goal here will be transparency as those details become available, but we are still in the early stages of an investigation. Information is still coming in. When we have more details, we will come back to this group. I'm not going to be identifying victims at this time. The only thing I will confirm at this time is no law enforcement was injured. Certainly you can respect law enforcement's need to make notifications. At this point in time, we're not going to take any additional questions from law enforcement. Again, I'd ask for you to respect the fact that this is an ongoing investigation. And as more details come available,
we're not asking for the names of the victims.
I understand.
I will. If the victims are the detainees.
The only thing I can say right now is no law enforcement was injured this morning as part of the attack. I won't be taking any more questions, neither will law enforcement this time. We'll come back to you later today or in the coming days when we have additional information. Thank you for your time.
Thank you a lot.
All right, friends. So what we've gleaned here from this press conference is nothing additional. The mayor opened up and spoke about praying. The police chief then confirmed that 2 were dead and the shooter. I believe that as all the officials here spoke, they're saying that no ICE officers were shot or killed. So you can, glean from that they were the detainees inside a van. FBI is on the scene, and then we heard from the FBI special agent in charge, Joe Lathrock. He said rounds were left that had writing on them of anti-ICE references. He also confirmed that no law enforcement were hurt during this action. ICE official thanks the Dallas PD and all law enforcement who responds and called for a stop of the violence. Ted Cruz slipped in there and speaks. He calls for stopping anti-ICE rhetoric by all, not just politicians, but by everybody. Let's bring in our good friend Ed Wallace, who's joining us from an undisclosed location. Ed, your thoughts on what we saw here today?
Well, very chaotic. The information isn't fully there yet, and everybody's rushing around trying to get information. And this press conference just let us know that nobody else, no law enforcement officers were killed. They were in an unmarked van. So then you have to assume that whoever was in there that did get killed were most likely detainees being brought to the facility for processing. Again, that'll come out later because notifications have to be made to the families of this. The shooter, obviously, this is the new trend now. I think the first time I'm aware of it was maybe Luigi Mangione writing on the cartridge cases their political hate messages about, and that gives us some insight into their beliefs of the shooter.
Right, and then we saw Charlie Kirk as well.
Yeah, okay, so this person, the people that do this, let's just be honest, the people that do this are unstable. Okay, these are not rational, normal thinking individuals. Okay, anybody that can justify violence like this, commit murder like this, or any of the other more recent cases, Charlie Kirk, the United Healthcare CEO, it just shows you we have a serious mental health issue in America. We also have serious political discord issue. We have a social, our societal issues are huge. And, I kept thinking recently about all of these topics, and I kept saying, why was it so much different in the 50s and 60s? We didn't have all of these mass shootings. We didn't have all these school shootings. We didn't have all of these issues that we're currently dealing with today in terms of the violence. And guns were more easily accessible back then than they are now.
And
in fact,
glorified in video games and online and all different kinds of movies where it shows gun violence. And I wanted to say, it looks like this is possibly the suspect's vehicle, possibly. And this looks like a little fire escape or fire walk. I just want to focus in on this and listen if there's any commentary to this, because you see police outside with that vehicle secured. Maybe that's where the perpetrator drove up and got up on that rooftop there of this building up in the upper right-hand corner. There's no audio. Looks like a crime scene van here in the upper left corner. And then they have this vehicle with the engine.
Ron, I can't hear you. Yeah.
Can everybody hear me? You can't hear me, Ed?
Well, you're very low now, and
there's no audio to that.
Yeah.
It looks like that's a crime scene van right there, up at the top right, and there's a vehicle with looks like an e-bike to the right of it, and police are just looking in it. The hood's open, and this is a building that looks like a catwalk here. Does everybody see that?
Yeah. I wonder what that white towel is, a white object is on the back rear quarter panel. Right rear quarter panel.
Yeah.
Looks like some kind of writing or something on there. I don't know what that is.
I just want to go back to where the wide shot is. They show this building right here. This is the building. right here. This is the building. So they pan and go to the right.
Ron, while we're showing this, if I can get back to what I was trying to say before,
Yes.
I believe that there is a huge cultural shift in our society, in our nation, that is part of the cause of this. And in addition, I believe the internet has spiked mental illness in the United States in our youth. And our parents need to really police what their children are doing on the internet, the time that they spend on the internet, who they're speaking to, what they're listening to on the internet. And there has to be accountability. We can no longer have non-accountability. Everybody has to be taught you are going to be held accountable for your actions.
100%. You hit it on the nail on the head. You've said this in the past, but what we just looked at here, and this is my speculation. This is the rear Sally Port entrance to this ICE facility right here. So I'm going to go full screen. Our audio still be heard. But Ed, if I go back to that location that I don't know how good you can see this video, because I know you're on your phone. Maybe you can't see the video, but
I see it.
Okay, so I'm going to go back.
I see a bear cat underneath the canopy.
Right, but look, here's the building, and there's the car. He could have got up here and look at the direct shot to the back of the Sally Port.
Yeah, but he shot blindly into an unmarked ICE van, most likely with tinted windows if the other vans that are there are indicators, because typically law enforcement vehicles have the tinted windows so people can't see inside those unmarked vehicles, and that they're transporting detainees to the facility for processing. So it's just crazy. If you're anti-ICE and you're pro illegal immigrant, you just killed three immigrants, undocumented immigrants. How does that help your cause? And how does any of this help your cause? Right? It just makes you a domestic terrorist.
Right. Yeah. I agree. It doesn't make any sense. I think what this helicopter shot just showed us is the potential of exactly where this crime scene happened. And it could have been on the street right here, or it could have been as this van pulled into the back of this location, anywhere along the drive up. And again, it was an unmarked ICE van. We don't know if it had windows or it had no windows. It was just a metal van with no windows, but this is where he would have drove up. They would have drove up right up here into this back white covered Sally Port area where that police vehicle is now, and then get out and then go into the facility.
I don't think they would have cleared the crime scene that quickly. Where is the police van that was involved? It still has to be on scene. Is it over to the right over there, to the right of the building where you're sure? Yes, right there.
It happened at 6:40 a.m. Their time. So
crime scene like this is not going to be cleared that fast. You're going to do shooting reconstruction. You're going to do a number of different things. You're not going to be moving these vehicles from their original positions.
I would think not, but we don't know. See these white vans? This could be their transport vans right there with the windows on the side.
Right.
The ones that are parked.
But there's one to the right over here.
Maybe the guy could have drove
gated back. Is it in that gated back area there?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. You see the one with the door open?
Yeah, they just showed it.
Yeah. There's one with the door open right there.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe those are the vans.
There's two of them back side to side. So
and they were going to come in this side door here.
This is the best that I've seen so far as it pertains to the actual positioning from that potential suspect's vehicle. I'm going to just back it up all the way back.
Look at that. I'm looking at the clip there. I'm looking at the ammo that's there on the news feed that I'm looking at, and I can see the writing. It has what's called a stripper clip, and the ammo is in it, and it's looking. If I had to guess, I can't. like an AK-47 type round, or maybe a 300 blackout. I'm not too sure what that is. It could be 30-06 too.
Right.
Yeah, it could be 30-06, like for an M1 Garand. And I can see the anti-ice stuff written on it.
Where do you see that on Fox, or what outlet is that on?
What news? Hold on. Yeah, it's Fox 5. Fox. Hold on. Yeah, it's Fox.
Okay, so I'm Fox 4 in Dallas. So it's all local Fox 5. You're saying?
No, I believe it's the network, Fox News Network.
Okay, got it.
They broke into a feed.
Got it. This is just raw helicopter shots. I'd have to, if I had a bet or guess, this is the suspect's vehicle. There's an e-bike there to the right on the ground, right where my cursor is. And they have crime scene tape right there, yellow tape going across. This is probably a building that's not active.
And they're on the roof. They're showing FBI agents on the roof, evidence response team agents on the roof, where the shooter was above where those vehicles are.
Right. This is just live from this station.
Yeah, there you go. There's some more FBI evidence response team.
Yep, right here.
There's the van.
This
Yeah, they're going to have to do a bunch of 3D laser scans.
The window is shot out of this van right here.
I can see. I can see some kind of blinds.
No, those are bars. So if
I can see some kind of bars.
Right. So
I don't see the tinted window glass.
Right. The both sides are tinted window. This is out.
Right.
So this is probably,
that's what I'm saying. I don't see the glass. Yeah, I don't see it on the ground either, though. But it's a tough shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Yeah, you see that? You see where that staircase that led up from where the car was and the scooter?
Yes.
The FBI evidence response team agents were up on that roof, processing there.
I'm going to see what else I can gather here. This might have been the station you were watching. Nope. Okay. All right. Again, sad day in America, sad day for law enforcement and for our country. It looks like two detainees were shot and killed in the back of a van, an ICE detention van at that ICE facility as it approached. And the shooter, in a cowardly fashion, took his own life. I'm just going to look quickly if they show FBI. There you go, Ed. Looks like FBI crime scene. That's what you saw, right?
Yep.
Two females up on the roof, crime scene. Ed, this is your
evidence response team. Yeah. They're going to have to scan from up there, do some 3D laser scans. If the vehicle has an entrance and exit hole through the sheet metal, they'll use ballistic trajectory rods and lasers, and they can scan that, and it should bring them right back to where the shooter was perched at the time the shots were fired.
So they're going to do a full workup of that rooftop.
Yeah, and the digital forensics on this guy is going to be huge. They're going to go in there and look at all of social media, get his phone, get his computer, right. Get his vehicle information. And I mean, that scooter could be his for all we know.
Right. But here, it doesn't look like he had access to the rooftop here.
No, you have to go inside the building and then you go up.
Right.
So the door is open. I'm looking at it now. The staircase leads up to a door. The door is open. The agents are going in and out. And then there's an internal set of stairs or maybe a ladder, I'm not sure, that brings you up to the roof.
It live now. I just want to see if it shows. Yeah, so car's parked right there. Windows are rolled down. Engine compartment is propped open. I don't know if the police did that. You're looking at an FBI agent going up, and this is probably the exact, oh, I see a ladder up on the roof. Did you see that, Ed?
No, go back.
Oh, can you see?
Yeah,
this?
there might be a ladder there. Yep. Maybe that's been there for maintenance or whatever the case may be. It looks like it's been there a while.
This stuff.
I bet you that scooter is the perps.
Yeah, I mean,
I bet you the vehicle. I bet you the vehicle is maybe that white thing was the vehicle had broken down and they left a note on it that the vehicle's broken down and the hood is up.
Yeah, potentially you think he could have maybe came up on the scooter. We will not know until this information is released. Everything is preliminary at this time. I really, was this the station where you saw the writings? That I would love to see that. Was it just a photo?
No, it's still on. Go to foxnews.com or one of the other ones.
All right, hold on a second. Let me take this off, put us on. Hey, Ed, it's always good to see you in a blank screen like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, secret squirrel stuff.
It's okay. Thank you for jumping on with us. Appreciate it. So I'll do this. I want to thank everybody in the chat for being here, and voicing your thoughts and your opinions is always great. We love to hear it. We love to see, how everybody feels about this stuff. Here we go. Fox News Channel. I'm not sure if I can back this up though, Ed.
It's on live right now. I'm watching it. It's still there. They're keeping it in the upper right corner of the screen.
Is this what you're watching?
Yeah, you can see the bullets, the cartridges in the upper right corner.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
How can I zoom in on that?
It's going to switch. Okay, now they pushed it down. All right. But you can see the television crew now is flying around the roof of the building, and the roof is filled with FBI agents now, and it looks like
that came from Kash Patel from his X account. I should just go to that.
Yeah,
I should go to that because I want to be able to zoom in. But what does that say? Anti-ice? Something? I'm gonna go to Kash Patel's.
Does it say Antifa? Antifa ICE?
I can't see it. I can't see
or
it.
Fascist? Is it? What is it? I don't know.
Yeah, they just took it off. Oh, here we go. Damn it! Can anybody see that? Or FBI Director Kash? Let me get that up. Hold on. I'm gonna go on my phone.
Yeah.
Then we'll wrap it up. We'll take some questions from the audience. Let me see. FBI.
No, I'm used to these stripper clips and that kind of ammo with an M1 Garand, and using that to load the internal.
Okay, I have it here, Ed, and I've got it zoomed in. It says anti-ice.
Anti-ice. Okay.
Yep. And then you can see the water all over them. It's on the floor. It looks like that asphalt parking lot.
Who are teaching our youth that violence against those who you do not agree with is okay? All right. Who are filling their heads with these beliefs? Because like anything in life, these people have to be taught this. Okay. It's not something you're born with. Okay. Slide it over. No, the other way. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anti-ice. Okay.
There's only one of them that's exposed. There could be writings on the backs or the other sides of those cartridges. But yeah, continue what you thought, Ed.
I was doing some research. I am writing a new addition to one of my books, and I was doing some research, and I saw what a actual Asian bot farm looks like, and I have video of it, and it's just mind blowing how these people in North Korea and in China are sitting at dual or triple screen computers that are attached to thousands of telephones, and they're sending out text messages and social media posts. Yes, it's Russia too, absolutely, and Iran and a few other bad actors and they're sending out text messages and social media posts, and the dangers of these things are tremendous because of the influence on people that they have, and they need to be shut down. They created a space force. I think in our military, I know we have all kinds of cyber capabilities, but I think we just need a cyber force, because that is also going to be a front that we will have to fight, and greater than what we're doing now, because we're too spread out. We have the NSA, we have the CIA, we have the FBI, we have all these intel groups. Okay, we need one central command just for that.
Yeah. But again, targeted attacks are difficult. Like, what is the federal government supposed to do? Every move that their vehicles make sweep these, adjacent buildings. So this is something that is going to be difficult to stop. It's going to be something that's impossible to stop, because what do? You freeze every building along this commercial strip. There's other people that are doing business around these facilities. Look, on Varick Street, I think it is, in Manhattan, there's an ICE detention center or a lockup there, a federal lockup. There's skyscrapers and high-rise buildings all around it. What do? Shut them down?
Well, it's getting to the point where you have to do a threat assessment on all your fixed facilities, and then identify potential areas that need to be surveilled to stop future attacks like this, or to identify them before they happen. And you're going to need a combination of humans and technology. You're going to need CCTV and AI software, facial recognition, license plate readers, and the weapon detection AI software is also out there.
Right.
And try to, it's crazy that we're here, that it has come this far.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I see this as a cultural and societal issue that has to be changed. It has to be addressed.
Somebody said,
growing up as a kid, we didn't have this.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
And we had kids, not necessarily in New York City, but if you go to the Midwest and you go to other parts of the country, you had kids go to their high schools with their pickup trucks and shotguns and rifles in their trucks parked in school parking lots. And nobody broke into those trucks to steal the weapons. And they would, kids did that because they would go hunting in the morning before school, or they would go hunting after school. And we didn't have any of this.
Yeah, it's true. It's a different day and age. And the creation of the internet, I think, was an evil doer in my eyes.
Well, there were accountability, there was morals, and there was religion at a greater extent back then than there is today. I'm not saying that you have to be religious in order to be a good person, but you could just be a good person. I get it, right? But the difference between right and wrong. And you had a nuclear family, and you had people there to support you.
Yeah, conversations at the dinner table. They're non-existent.
Right. No cell phones, no electronics at the dinner table.
I went out to dinner last night with Janine, with my wife, and I looked to my left. There was a family with 3 kids. Every one of those kids had an iPad in front of them.
Yeah.
And then there was an adult child there, like, 17, 18 or whatever, young adult. And he was on his phone. And then I looked at the parents, and they were on their phone. That didn't exist.
No, it didn't exist. You had face-to-face conversations.
Yeah.
Right? You knew how to interact in person not over the internet, not over a smartphone, none of these things.
Yeah.
Okay. We had gun ranges at schools. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We had with the Boy Scouts, and we had archery, we had guns, and we had there were competitions, and and still to this day there are still several public schools in New York City that still have gun ranges in their basements, albeit they're no longer used, but they're there because back then we had that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we haven't solved the issue or addressed the issue of these school shootings. Now we put this on to the table as well. Look, we'd like to be able to remedy all of these threats, but it's just not possible. But I'd like to see the federal government take a real stance at shoring up our places where our children go to school, and from kindergarten straight up to college. I'd like to also see our houses of worship more secure, and everything more secure. But where does this end? Are we going to live in a society where you're going to have people up on rooftops monitoring at these types of locations? I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not a good place. And look, I think Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, forgave the shooter of her husband, the assassin of her husband. And we always talk about communication, but I think getting back to whatever your religion is, your houses of worship, and praying and having conversations, real conversations. Because when there's an argument on the internet or by text message, you never get to face the person. And I think that's where people are more emboldened, getting these crazy thoughts and having no real person in front of them to talk them sort of off the ledge.
And remember, when we were kids, you couldn't keep us inside.
Yeah.
Right? We were always outside playing. We did our homework. We were outside until it was either time for dinner or the lights went out on the street lights, and then you had to get your butt back home. Okay. We grew up I grew up in a community where everybody knew everybody. All right. Not like today where you hardly know your neighbors or get a hi out of them when you see them in the morning. Okay. In my neighborhood, when growing up as a kid in the 50s and 60s, any parent in our neighborhood could discipline any other child, regardless if they were not family or whatever. And before that child got home, if they were disciplined by another parent, that parent made a phone call to that child's parents to inform them as to what happened and what they did. Okay. Like you couldn't screw up on my street without your parents knowing about it.
Yeah. They found out about it quickly.
Yeah. And I had relatives. I couldn't walk home from school without passing at least 3 to 5 relatives' houses. Okay. Because they just lived in, when they grew up in the neighborhood, and then they, became adults and moved out, and they just bought houses in the surrounding area where they grew up.
Right.
Okay. We were allowed to walk to school and home from school, public grammar school, junior high school, and high school. Okay. Now you do that, you're called a free range parent if you allow your kids to walk to school. Okay. As if it's something bad. Okay. We were allowed to come home for lunch if you lived close by to school. So, your parents would sign the documents and you'd go run home for lunch and then you'd come back to school. Okay. Right. And it's amazing how times have changed so drastically. Okay. I really do think our children are missing all of that in today's society.
I agree wholeheartely with you, Ed, and it's clear and evident when you go out in public spaces and you see this. I have my son who's, because of my teachings, is old school. When we sit down at the table, I don't even have to say it. The phones go down and they're put on silent, and they don't even look at them. It's not even like where I have to say it. We all just do it. And we talk to each other like, hey, how was your day? How was school? How was work? Those kind of conversations in some of the modern families now, they don't exist. The moms and dads are on their phones, posting selfies and doing their thing. Look, you have to draw the line where your family comes first and family values. We have to turn this thing around and have people talk to their kids. Like you said, you have to, as parents, nurture and talk to your kids about what's right and wrong. And communication is key, and it's not happening in society. It's keyboard warriors, keyboard tough guys and girls. Everyone's got an opinion. Everybody's telling people, like you said, 30, 40 years ago, you didn't dare question how a parent disciplined their child. Nowadays, if you see a parent tug on a kid, you're calling BCW, child welfare.
Again, another cultural shift in parenting. Now we don't have the parents that we had. We have people that are not parents, but they just want to be their children's friends, and they want their children to make up determinations as to who they are and what they believe.
Right.
And that is not the job of a parent. That's what friends do. But you're the parent. You're supposed to lead by example. You're supposed to teach your children your values. Okay, not before their brain is fully developed. Let them make life-altering decisions.
Right, and then most of them are being done by the internet, by watching videos, by watching what someone's telling them, and the person that's telling them is a complete stranger. So these are the dangers of the internet. The internet is evil. And again, I'm not saying that it is wholeheartedly the cause of this, but it is the part of the fueling of the fire. I have to run. I got to get to a service appointment. I want to thank our community, Ed, and everyone for joining in on these tough discussions. Let us know what you think in the comments section after the video is over, and also send us messages on DutyRon.com. Thank you to everyone who supports us through super chats, becoming members, spreading the word about our community. Buy me cups of coffee. Those continue to come in. And thank you to everyone for being here and being good human beings. Remember, we can agree to disagree. We can be on different political sides of the field here and still be friends. That's what this is. That's where things are taking a really bad turn, is that if you don't agree with, I'm just making an example, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, then we can't be friends. That's not how it's supposed to be.
That's the breakdown of society right there.
Correct.
Right? And that's what leads to violence. That's what leads to tribalization and hatred. Okay, that has to stop. I mean, even my close friends growing up, we've had arguments.
Oh yeah,
but we never stopped talking to each other. The arguments would come. We would have these issues, and then they get resolved, and we move on. Okay, and the same thing with family members. We don't have to agree with all our family members, but you still have to be civil. You still have to be respectful and courteous. You have courtesy and respect. Okay.
Yeah. It's lacking in our country severely. And, this is, we're on a crash course here, and it's not going to get better unless there's change. So again, little by little, we get things done. Talk to your loved ones, talk to your relatives, talk to your families. And if you see something that's out of line and somebody is becoming radicalized or talking crazy, don't just say, that's crazy Uncle Joe. That's crazy Jimmy. That's Tina being silly. If there's something concerning, do something about it. Say something to somebody, because in so many of these instances, we hear it echoes so loudly. We hear it over and over again. The last few months, he hasn't been right. What did you do? What did you do about that? And that's where some of these problems are, and people have to take initiatives and do these interventions or call authorities. And if the authorities don't do anything about it, keep calling them and calling them and calling them and calling them, because if it's left, it's just going to get worse. So again, that's my words of the day. I appreciate everybody. If you see something odd, say something inside your home, outside your home, in your surroundings, in your daily activities. Ed, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank everybody for stopping by and saying hello. Unscheduled live stream. I just ran down because I was home. Today is a day off. Here you see crime scene taking photographs. Ed, maybe we'll do a follow-up to this on the crime scene and evidence and forensic investigations as it pertains to cases like this. Thank you for being here, everybody. Ed, any final parting words?
Well, at the risk of sounding corny, the answer is love, not hate.
It doesn't sound corny, and that is the truth. So thank you for those words, Ed Wallace. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, God bless the world, God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. And to those victims who were shot and killed today, we send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to their families and loved ones. This is something that shouldn't be happening, but unfortunately it is. Thank you and take care. Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We'll see you on the next one.